Today we're going to be doing multiplying fractions. So to multiply fractions, you need to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. It's pretty simple mathematically. So if I have 1/2 times 2/3, I just multiply my numerators together, 1 times 2, and then I multiply my denominators together, 2 times 3. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. And then to get from here, I just simplify, so I divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, so I get my answer as 1/3. I wanted to show you what it looks like and what it actually means in a model form. So I have 1/2, so think about a 1/2 piece, and I need to take 2/3 of it, okay? So I split this into thirds. As you can see, I'm going to highlight it so you can see that. So I have this is divided, the half is divided into 3 pieces, but I only took 2/3 of it. So this last piece is not taken, so I'm going to cross it off. So how much is this total piece? Well, I have a 6 plus a 6, which is 2 6. So let's look over here. Here is your 2 6. And 2 6 is equal to 1/3. And I show you here how to do that. And you just divide by 2 to simplify on the top and the bottom. And you get that 2 6 equals 1/3. I wanted to show you another way. So what is 1/2 of 2/3? So let's look up, here's 2/3 here, okay? So I'm only gonna look at the 2/3 piece, okay, the blue pieces, and I'm gonna take half of it. So, well, half is divided right here, so I'm just gonna look at this. So I have 1 piece out of 3, so it's 1/3, okay? So, and that's what we said before on the other slide. So let's look at this problem, 2 7 times a -3/8. So first I'm going to show you, there's 2 methods that we can do this by, is to multiply and then simplify. And you guys learned this last year. The only thing that's different is that there's negatives. So we're going to be working with negatives. So the first thing that we have to do is multiply my numerators together. So let's do 2 times a -3. And then I would multiply my denominators together. So I have 7 and 8, right? So 7 times 8. So let's go ahead and 7 times 8 is 56. And then 2 times the -3 is -6. All right, so I multiplied straight across. Now I just need to simplify. So can I simplify by dividing by 2? Yes, I can. So I can divide by 2 on the top and divide by 2 on the bottom. So a -6 divided by 2 is -3. And then 56 divided by 2, well, 50 divided by 2 is 25, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, so that would be 28. So I get -3/28, and that would be my final answer. The other method that we can do is to simplify and then multiply, which is basically cross-canceling. So let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify first, or divide in my problem. So I see that I have a 2 and an 8 here, okay? So I'm going to, since they're both positive, I can divide by 2 first, okay? So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And this is the easiest to do, I think, especially so then when you multiply, you don't get such big numbers. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply straight across. So now I'm going to multiply 1 times a -3. So 1 times a -3 would be the numerators, and then my denominators would be 7 times, in this case, it is 4, okay, on the bottom. Now, the top one, I have 1 times a -3, which would be a -3. Remember, a positive times a negative is a negative. And then I have 7 times 4, which is 28. And we would get the same answer, Okay, so there are two different methods. Think about which method that you like. Do you like to multiply straight across first and then simplify? Or do you like to simplify first? If you notice here, I divided by 2 and 2 on the top. I just divided by 2 and 2 here before. So I simplified first. And we call that cross-canceling. Now we're going to go over multiplying mixed numbers. This is the first method. So the first method is that you rename the mixed number, so the 4 2/5, as an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and do that. So the 1/2 stays the same. And then the 4 2/5. I'm going to show you how to do it. We showed you this last year, but you multiply the denominator, the 4 times the 5, which is 20. And then you're going to add the 2 to that, so plus 2. So I have 20 plus 2, and I get 22. And then my denominator, which is 5, stays the same. I want to show you a model of 4 2/5. Okay, so I have 4 wholes, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 2/5. So to make fists, I kind of make a person, like this is their head and their arms, and then you have your legs out. All right, I'm gonna color this in, so this is 1/5, and then this is 2/5, okay? But I need to figure out how many fists do I have total. That wasn't very good, that's just 4ths, okay. And these would be all colored in. I'm gonna highlight, let's see if this will work. So I highlight these. Okay, so how many fifths do I have? Well, I have 4 groups of 5. That's why I multiply over here the 4 times the 5. So, and that is 20. So I have 20 fifths. I could count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? But it's a whole lot easier to just multiply the 4 times the 5. And then I have plus 2/5, okay? So I have 20 fifths here, plus the 2/5, and that's how I got the 22 fifths over on the right side, okay? Or you can change this 4 and just say that the 4 is 20 divided by 5, plus, because 20 divided by 5 is 4 wholes, plus the 2/5 equals 20 fifths. All right, now that I have that, I can go ahead and multiply straight across. So we're going to do 1 times the 22, and then I have on my denominator 2 times 5. And that would give me 22 tenths. I can simplify this by dividing by 2, and I would get 11 fifths. And I can simplify that more by saying, okay, 5 goes into 11 2 times, because 2 times 5 is 10, and then I have one more to get to 11, and then the fifths stayed the same, okay? You can, if you need to, go ahead and go 11 divided by 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I subtract. You get this 1. This 1 here is your numerator, and then you take your denominator, which is this 5 here, and it'd be 2 1/5. All right. The second method, remember, for the other way that you can multiply a fraction, I guess it's not the second method, but it's to actually do 1/2 times 22 fifths, right? And it's to simplify first. So divide by 2 here, divide by 2. So then you get 11. And you get 1 here. So then you get 11 fifths, and then you can get the 2 1/5. All right, let's go on to the next page. All right, this is the second method, and it's multiplying mixed numbers, and we're using mental math. So if you think about it, our whole problem is 1/2 times 4 2/5. Well, that means that I'm multiplying 1/2 times the 4, and I'm multiplying the 1/2 times the 2/5. So that's what we're going to do. So we do 1/2 times the 4. So what's half of 4? Well, that's 2. And then I take half of 2/5. What's 1/2 times 2/5? Well, that is just 1/5. And that is your final answer. I will show you what 1/2 times 2/5 is, so I'll expand it out so you can see. So I do get 2/10, but I can simplify that by dividing by 2 and 2, which is 1/5. Or you go and you simplify here if you want, and you get 1/5 this way, okay? So just to go over this problem, how I decided to break it up is this is 4 and 2/5, and you break it up as 4 plus 2/5, and then you just take half of each, and that's how you can do that, okay? So this is the end of multiplying fractions.